I returned from the hospital, my body aching, legs trembling with every step, the surgery incisions stinging beneath my clothes. 11 days I'd been there, fighting an infection that nearly took me, battling fear of never waking up, and enduring the loneliness of those sterile white walls. Not a single soul visited. Not Gregory, my only son. Not Michelle, my daughter-in-law. No calls, no texts, nothing. When the doctor handed me discharge papers, I had to ask a nurse to call a cab. No one was waiting for me. No one. At home, I clung to a foolish hope of finding a note, a hot meal, some sign that someone cared. I opened the door slowly, carrying my small bag of hospital belongings. Silence greeted me first, then shock hit. A second refrigerator stood in the kitchen, large, modern, gleaming, right next to my old faithful fridge. I froze, staring. I didn't understand. Gregory emerged from the living room, beer can in hand, acting like everything was normal. Michelle followed, clutching adhesive labels and a permanent marker. They didn't even glance at me. "What is this?" I asked, pointing at the new fridge. Gregory took a long swig. "It's our fridge, Mum, for our things." "Our fridge?" I repeated, disbelieving. Michelle knelt, sticking labels on every shelf, writing Shelley in bold, thick letters. Shelley, 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 on every rack, every drawer, every space. "Exactly," she said without turning. "This is for our groceries, the ones we buy with our money. We don't want them mixed with yours." The floor shifted beneath me. My stitches pulled. My chest ached with every breath. They were marking territory in my own kitchen. "But this is my house," I whispered. Gregory laughed, dry and cold. "Yeah, Mum, your house. But we live here too, remember? And frankly, with your meagre social security, you can't afford the stuff we like." So we got organised. Michelle stood, admiring her labelled shelves. "Don't take offence, Eleanor. It's practical. You buy yours, we buy ours. No mix-ups." "Mix-ups?" My voice cracked. "I've never denied you anything from my fridge." "We know," Gregory said, crushing his empty can. "But this is better. Orderly, fair, fair." The word echoed like a broken bell. I glanced at my half-empty fridge, then at their overflowing one. Two worlds divided, the haves and the barely surviving. The ones who mattered and the ones who were dead weight. "Besides," Michelle continued, opening their fridge to reveal expensive meats, imported cheeses, costly wines. "We have standards. We don't eat the same stuff you do. No offence, no offence." As if that softened the poison, Gregory patted my shoulder condescendingly. "Relax, Mom, it's not personal. You're not young anymore. Your pension barely covers basics. We need more. We deserve more." Deserve. Another word that sliced like a knife. I wanted to scream. I wanted to remind them I worked 35 years in a factory, ruining my back to give Gregory everything. I sold my mother's jewellery for his college tuition. I wanted to cry and ask how they could treat me this way. But I said nothing. My body was too tired, my heart too broken. The stitches throbbed, reminding me I'd barely survived. I didn't have the strength to fight. "I'm going to rest," I murmured, dragging my bag to the small back room. "Sure, Mum. Rest up," Gregory said, already turning to the living room where the TV waited. Michelle closed her fridge with a satisfied thud. The sound echoed through the kitchen, the house, my chest. I walked down the hall, each step torture. The small room, once my sewing room, now my exile, barely held a twin bed and an old wardrobe. Gregory and Michelle had moved in a year ago. "Just until we find something better," they'd said. They never did. Instead, they took my master bedroom, the living room, every corner of my home. I let them, out of love, fear of loneliness, and the stupid hope things would improve. I sat on the bed, and tears came, hot, bitter, silent. From outside, their laughter, the TV blaring, the fridge opening and closing, wine glasses clinking. They were celebrating. Celebrating what? Maybe putting me in my place. Maybe no longer faking respect. Maybe that the old woman, the nuisance, had accepted her fate without a fight. I lay down slowly, every muscle protesting. I closed my eyes, but sleep wouldn't come. Images flashed. The labelled fridge. Michelle's smug smile. Gregory's icy indifference. Their words like stones. "Your meagre pension. We don't want to mix our things with yours. You're not young anymore. We deserve more." Each phrase was a nail in the coffin of our relationship, confirming what I'd known but refused to accept. To them, I wasn't a mother. I was a burden, dead weight, someone to exploit until nothing was left. I'd allowed it, year after year, abuse after abuse, humiliation after humiliation. But something shifted as I lay there. Something broke. A decision formed, slow, firm, inevitable. I opened my eyes in the darkness, certainty filling my chest. They'd made a mistake. They thought I was weak, that I'd given up, that they could do anything without consequences. They were wrong. In the morning, they'd see something unforgettable. They'd learn who Eleanor Hayes truly was, and that lesson would cost them everything. I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw those labels. Shelley, 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 like brand marks on cattle, declarations of ownership over what wasn't theirs. I stared at the cracked ceiling, listening to their laughter from the living room. They were watching a show, drinking wine from that new fridge, enjoying their victory over the worthless old lady. That's who I was to them now. A worthless old lady with a meagre pension. At 68, after a lifetime of work, this was my reward. The tears kept falling, but they weren't sadness anymore. They were rage, indignation, something buried for years finally waking up. I remembered Gregory's birth 42 years ago. I was 26, working at the factory while his father, Bernard, worked construction. We lived in a tiny apartment, but we were happy, or so I thought. Gregory was our miracle after 3 losses. I cared for him like he was made of glass, gave him everything. When Bernard died 15 years ago from a sudden heart attack, I thought the world was ending. Gregory, then 27, promised to take care of me. "You'll never want for anything, Mum. I'll always be here." Lies. All lies. The first years after Bernard's death were tough but manageable. Gregory visited, took me to the market, fixed things around the house. Then he met Michelle. 8 years ago, she arrived like a hurricane. Beautiful, self-assured, ambitious. She worked in cosmetic sales, but lived like a corporate corporate executive. Expensive clothes, perfect nails, hair always done at the city's priciest salon. I noticed a coldness in her eyes, a constant calculation, evaluating what I was worth, what she could get from me. She's a little intense, I told Gregory once gently. You're jealous, Mom. Michelle's amazing. She's what I need. Jealous. Worried, I corrected internally, but he wouldn't listen. They married 6 months later. A lavish wedding I helped pay for. $10,000 of my savings. Because he was my only son and deserved the best. We'll pay it back, Mom, as soon as we're settled. I never saw a cent. Visits became sparse, calls brief, but requests for money multiplied. Mom, we need $1,000 for the apartment deposit. Mom, the car broke down. $3,000 for repairs. Mom, Michelle needs urgent dental work. $5,000. Always urgent. Always necessary. Always guilt if I hesitated. You don't want your son in a dangerous car, do you? I paid over and over. Because he was my son. Because a mother's love has no limits. Because I feared losing him forever. When I retired 2 years ago, I thought I could rest. 35 years at the factory left me with arthritis, chronic back pain, and an $800 monthly social security check. It wasn't much, but it was mine. Bernard left me this small paid-for house in a quiet neighborhood, my refuge, my security. Then the pandemic hit. Gregory lost his sales job, Michelle hers. They showed up with suitcases. It's temporary, Mom. Just until we get back on our feet. A couple of months became a year, and everything rotted. At first, they paid some bills, bought groceries. Then they stopped. We're looking for work, Mom. It's tough out there. But Michelle kept buying new clothes. Gregory ordered craft beers. They went to expensive dinners while I ate eggs and toast. Then came the takeover. First, the master bedroom. We need more space, Mum. The small room's cozier. Cozier. A cruel word for that tiny box. Then the living room. We'll put our new TV here. Yours is too old. My TV worked fine, but theirs arrived. Gigantic, noisy, invasive. They reorganized the kitchen. Threw away my old pots. These are hideous, Eleanor. So embarrassing. Those were the pots I'd cooked Gregory's childhood meals in. The ones Bernard gave me for our first anniversary. I saw them in the trash and said nothing, swallowing the pain like everything else. The money requests grew aggressive. Mom, $2,000 for a course to get a job. Mom, Michelle needs a new phone. $1,000. Mom, we have to pay the credit card or we'll get sued. $4,000. Urgent. Hesitation brought blackmail. After everything I've done for you, any mother would do this. If you loved me, you wouldn't hesitate. The worst came from Michelle, with her venomous smile. One day we'll take care of you, Eleanor. You'd better be generous now. Generous. I'd been so generous my $30,000 savings, decades of sacrifice, were gone in 2 years, spent on their whims, luxuries, lies disguised as needs, charges. Gregory helped review my accounts, showing only what he wanted. The manipulation was calculated, perfect. At 2:30, I organised the documents into a folder, proof of fraud, theft, elder abuse. At 3 p.m, Beverly knocked, accompanied by Arthur Dawson, a tall man of about 65 with grey hair and kind, intelligent eyes. Eleanor, this is Arthur, Beverly introduced. His handshake was firm, warm. A pleasure, Eleanor. Beverly told me about your situation. I'm here to help, free of charge. This is personal for me. Personal? I asked, inviting them to the kitchen table. My mother was financially exploited by my brother until she had nothing, Arthur explained, his face darkening. When we found out, it was too late. She died betrayed and ruined. I swore to help others in her memory. His words hit deeply. I wasn't alone. Show me what you found, Arthur said, pulling out a notepad. I laid out the documents, fraudulent statements, unauthorized loans, receipts, the home equity application. His expression hardened with each paper. This is serious, Eleanor. Very serious. Your son's actions constitute felonies. Identity fraud, theft, forgery, elder abuse. Can he go to jail? I asked, feeling horror and satisfaction. If you file criminal charges, yes, but let's discuss options. He outlined 3. First, confront them, demand they stop, negotiate repayment, fast but rarely effective, as abusers deny and manipulate. Second, civil legal action, sue for stolen money, request restraining orders, recover funds plus damages, takes 6 months to a year. Third, criminal action, file charges for fraud, police investigate, potential jail time, criminal records. Silence filled the kitchen. Beverly held my hand. You don't have to decide now, Arthur said, but we must act quickly on this. He pointed to the loan application. If this is approved, you could lose your house. How? I asked. Tomorrow we go to the bank, cancel Gregory's authorizations, change passwords, freeze your credit to prevent more accounts in your name, alert the bank about the fraud dispute charges, put the house in a trust to protect it. It sounded overwhelming. I know it's a lot, Arthur said, reading my thoughts. I'll guide you every step. You're not alone. And in the meantime, I asked, they keep living here robbing me. That's your decision. You can start eviction. It takes weeks. Or confront them now, tell them you know and they must leave. The idea thrilled and terrified me. What would you do? I asked. Document everything first. Photos of the boxes, clothes, fridge labels, receipts. Then, when you're legally protected, confront from strength, not weakness. It made sense. Anything else? Beverly overheard Michelle talking about waiting for your death to take the house. That's usable in court, especially for elder abuse with intent. An aggravating factor. How do we prove it? Beverly raised her hand. I can testify. I heard it clearly. Perfect, Arthur said. An independent witness strengthens the case. We reviewed for 2 hours, planning every step. Arthur took document copies. I felt stronger, clearer, in control for the first time in years. They left at 5. Gregory and Michelle would return soon. I gave the original documents to Beverly for safekeeping. At 6, I heard their car. They walked in with shopping bags from expensive stores, laughing. Their laughter died when they saw me in the living room. Hey, Mom, Gregory said, emotionless. What are you doing standing there? We need to talk, I replied, voice steady. Michelle rolled rolled her eyes. We're tired. Long day. A long day shopping with my money. This is important, I insisted. Gregory sighed. Fine, what is it? I wanted to scream everything, but remembered Arthur's advice. Document, protect, confront from strength. I want us to go to the bank tomorrow, I said. The bank? For what? Gregory dropped the bags. I need to check my accounts. Strange charges I don't recognize. Something flickered in Gregory's eyes. Fear, guilt, gone quickly. Probably your medications, Mom, or utilities. No, other things. Large transfers. Michelle crossed her arms. Eleanor, don't insult Gregory. He's been helping you because you don't understand this stuff. Another jab at my supposed stupidity. That's why I want to go, to understand better, I replied. Jeez, what a pain, Michelle muttered, opening her labelled fridge, pulling out costly wine. Check your statement online. Gregory taught you. He'd never given me real passwords, always logging in on his phone. I prefer in person, I insisted. Michelle returned with 2 wine glasses, handing one to Gregory, offering me nothing. You're being ungrateful, Mom, Gregory said. After everything we've done. Everything you've done? I snapped. Living here, eating my food, spending my money? No one asked us to stay, Michelle shot back. Then leave, I said softly. Silence, dense and dangerous. Michelle slammed her glass down. I'm sick of your martyr act, Eleanor. As if we're villains. I gave you everything, I whispered. Everything. Michelle laughed cruelly. You gave Gregory a mediocre childhood in a forgettable neighbourhood. A poor mentality. We've had to overcome that. Every word stabbed. Gregory didn't stop her, just drank, avoiding my gaze. I broke my back to give him the best, I said, tears threatening. The best? Michelle sneered. You filled him with guilt and obligation. Michelle, enough, Gregory murmured, without conviction. It's time she heard the truth, Michelle pressed. Eleanor, you're a burden. Living here is a sacrifice. Tolerating you is exhausting. Tears fell. If it's such a sacrifice, leave. Gregory approached. Mom, this is our house too. Dad would have wanted it this way. A family house. Your father left it to me, I said. Michelle grabbed her bags. I'm putting these away. Greg, help me. They went upstairs, my old bedroom door closing. The confrontation went worse than imagined. They'd twisted everything. Made me feel guilty, but I no longer doubted. Michelle's words were clear. I was a burden to tolerate until I died. I texted Beverly, I need to go to the bank tomorrow. Can Arthur come? Her reply, of course, we'll pick you up at 8. I went to bed early, hearing their footsteps, the TV, their laughter. I thought of Bernard, how disappointed he'd be. Forgive me, Bernard, I whispered. I let them destroy what you built, but I'll fix it. I slept soundly, knowing the war had begun, and I wouldn't lose. At 6 a.m, I woke, dressed in my best clothes from Bernard's funeral, wanting to look dignified, not the sick old woman they saw. By 7:30, I was ready, purse with documents in hand. Gregory came downstairs in pajamas, surprised to see me awake. Morning, he said, voice husky. Coffee? I poured him a cup, hand steady, calm. You going out? He asked, noticing my outfit. Doctor's appointment, post-op checkup. A lie necessary. Want me to take you? No, Beverly's driving. He nodded, interest fading, eyes back on his phone. At 8 AIC, Beverly's car horn sounded. I'm leaving, I announced. Take care, Mom, Gregory said, not looking up. I walked out, the morning air filling my lungs. Beverly and Arthur waited in the car. Ready? Arthur asked. Ready, I replied. At the bank, Arthur went straight to the customer service desk. We need the branch manager. Urgent matter of bank fraud. A young employee fetched Marcus Johnson, a man in his 50s, grey suit, kind expression. In his private office, Arthur presented the case. I recounted everything, voice shaky at first, then stronger. Unauthorized loans, credit cards, transfers. Marcus took notes, his expression darkening. Do you have documents? I laid out the fraudulent statements. This is very serious, he said. For an hour, Marcus reviewed transactions. Multiple irregularities, he said. Large transfers to unknown accounts, withdrawals from distant ATMs, charges for services you didn't contract. How much? I asked, dreading answer. In 2 years, approximately $42,000 in unauthorized transactions. I felt dizzy. Beverly held my arm. And this, Marcus pointed to his screen, a $50,000 home equity loan application using your house. The signature looks forged. I never authorized that, I said. Gregory has access to my documents. That's forgery. A serious felony, Marcus noted. Will you proceed legally? Yes, Arthur replied. Marcus froze the loan, initiated a fraud protocol, and removed Gregory's account access. The credit cards would be cancelled. Debts disputed. You're not responsible for fraudulent charges, Marcus assured. The bank will investigate the $42,000. Your son and daughter-in-law will repay or face charges. We left with a thick folder. Fraud reports, statements, evidence. In the car, Beverly hugged me. You did well, Eleanor. Now the hard part, Arthur said. Confronting them. Today, I decided. Tonight, when they're back. Arthur smiled, approving. We'll be with you. At home, Gregory and Michelle were out. Arthur photographed the fridges, designer clothes, receipts, evidence of their lifestyle versus claimed income. Beverly made tea, forced me to eat. By 5 the plan was ready. At 6:00, their car arrived. I stood at the door. Beverly and Arthur in the living room. Gregory and Michelle walked in, laughing, freezing when they saw us. What's going on? Gregory asked, defensive. Sit down, I said, voice firm. We need to talk. What is this? Who's he? Michelle pointed at Arthur. Arthur Dawson, legal counsel for Ms. Hayes. Gregory paled. Counsel? Mum, what did you do? I found out everything, Gregory. Everything. Arthur laid documents on the coffee table. Capital One credit card, opened in Eleanor's name, balance $14,800. Did you authorize this? No, I said. Bank error, Gregory shouted. I was going to tell you. When? I asked. When you couldn't pay? Arthur continued. Citibank loan $5,000, transferred to Gregory's account. Authorized? No. Michelle stepped forward. You're confused, Eleanor. You signed those papers. You told me to sign without reading, I countered. Beverly interjected. I've heard them. I know how they operate, Michelle glared. You nosy old hag! You put ideas in her head. No one don't put anything in my head, I said. You showed me who you are. Arthur held up the loan application. Home equity loan, forged signature. A federal crime. Gregory paled further. That was for investment, for all of us. For all of us? I exploded. You didn't visit me in the hospital. You put in a separate fridge because my food wasn't good enough. That's unrelated, Michelle screamed. It's everything, I said. It shows how you see me, as garbage to exploit until I die. No one said that, Gregory stammered. Yes, you did, Beverly said. I heard Michelle say, it won't be long now. When the old lady passes, this house is ours, worth $200,000. And Gregory replied, I hope she hurries up. I'm tired of pretending to care. Michelle turned on Beverly. That's a lie? You did, Beverly confirmed. Gregory stammered. That was out of context. What context justifies wishing me dead? I asked, tears falling. Mum, I don't want you to die, he said. But you want my house? My money? Arthur took control. We have documentation. $42,000 fraudulently withdrawn in 2 years. Transfers, withdrawals, unauthorized charges. I was managing her finances, Gregory yelled. Managing doesn't mean stealing, Arthur said. Michelle collapsed on the sofa, sobbing dramatically. I can't believe you're doing this, Eleanor. We sacrificed to live here. This house you wanted to steal, I said. We were securing our future, she screamed. At my expense. Gregory ran his hands through his hair. Mum, we can fix this. We'll pay it back. Arthur outlined options. 1. Return every cent plus interest. Leave immediately. Sign an agreement acknowledging fraud. No criminal charges. 2. We file charges. Fraud, forgery, elder abuse. 5 to 15 years in prison. Silence. Suffocating. We don't have $42,000, Michelle said. Sell what you bought with stolen money, Arthur replied. That won't cover it, she protested. Then get jobs. Pay monthly until it's covered. Gregory slumped. Mom, are you destroying your own son? You destroyed yourself, I said. I'm protecting myself. Arthur pulled out papers. This is an eviction notice. You have 2 hours to pack and leave. This is illegal, Michelle screamed. It's not, Arthur said. This is Ms. Hayes' house. I can call the police now. Gregory pleaded. Mum, please. I said nothing. Beverly held my hand, giving strength. The next 2 hours were agony. Drawers slammed upstairs. Michelle screamed. Gregory's voice broke. Things were thrown. We waited, ensuring they took only personal belongings. Michelle dragged a suitcase down, face red. I need my kitchen things. The dishes stay, I said. Bought with stolen money, she glared. You miserable old woman. You ruined your son's life. You ruined your own lives, I countered. She emptied her fridge, wines, cheeses, meats, into bags. This is mine. Take it, I said. Arthur photographed everything. Gregory carried 3 suitcases, looking aged. Mom, reconsider. We're family. Family doesn't steal, I said. Michelle stormed past. Let's go, Greg. This place smells like poverty. They loaded their car with clothes, shoes, electronics, their giant TV. Gregory stopped at the door. You'll regret this, Mom. When you're alone, realizing you needed us. I don't need you, I said. I needed respect and you never gave it. They drove off, disappearing around the corner. My legs gave out. I sat on the sofa, tears falling. Liberation, relief, pain. Beverly hugged me. It's over. You did the right thing, Arthur agreed. I cried for 10 minutes, releasing years of abuse. The house was a mess, but mine again. Now what? I asked. They have until noon tomorrow to choose option 1 or 2, Arthur said. If they don't, we file charges. The bank will too. Beverly stayed that night, cooking dinner, talking about plants, the weather, anything but the pain. I slept in my room, changing sheets, airing out Michelle's perfume. It was mine again. The next morning, Beverly made breakfast. At 12:05, Gregory arrived, looking terrible. Bags under his eyes, wrinkled clothes. I accept option 1, he said. I'll sign, acknowledge the fraud, repay everything. How much do you have? Arthur asked. Nothing, 0. We spent it all. $47,000 with interest. Arthur calculated. Pay $300 monthly until you're employed, then $500. Gregory signed, hands trembling. Michelle left me, he said. Called me a coward for accepting. That's between you and her, I said. Mom, I'm sorry, he whispered. I'm not interested in apologies, I replied. Just pay back what you stole, he asked. Can we fix this? Our relationship? I don't know, Gregory, I said. He left. Justice was in motion. 3 months later, I was rebuilding. Gregory paid $300 monthly. On time, no contact. Michelle vanished. The bank pursued her for fraud, issuing a warrant. I redecorated with Beverly's help. Cream walls, floral curtains, plants in the garden. I sold the labelled fridge, bought roses, lavender, sunflowers. My old fridge held food I liked. Fruits, vegetables, Sunday pie. Beverly became family. We had tea daily. Walked Saturdays, watched movies Sundays. You got your smile back, she said. She was right. The bank recovered $18,000. The rest would come from Gregory's payments. I fixed the roof, plumbing, garage door, set aside emergency funds. Arthur helped create a protected will. Your house goes to who you decide, he said. No one can change it without your presence and a mental evaluation. I'd learned my lesson. Never again financially vulnerable. 4 months later, pruning roses, I saw a car. Not Gregory or Michelle, but a young woman with a small boy. Ms. Hayes, I'm Naomi Bell, Gregory's girlfriend, she said. He told me everything, how he hurt you. He's changing, working 2 jobs, in therapy, paying his debts. I'm not asking for forgiveness, just letting you know he's trying for his son. The boy, about 4, looked up. You're my grandma? My heart broke and healed. Yes, little one. They left, but the encounter lingered. Could I forgive Gregory? I didn't know. 2 months later, on my 69th birthday, Gregory sent a letter. No pleas, just his process. Therapy, work, his son, regrets. I don't expect forgiveness, Mom. I try daily to be the man you raised. I love you. Always have, even if my actions said otherwise. I kept it, didn't respond, wasn't ready. Beverly threw a birthday party. Neighbours, friends, laughter, warmth. Michelle said I'd end up alone. She was wrong. I was surrounded by real affection, respect. That night, I texted Gregory. I got your letter. I'm not ready to see you, but I'd like to meet Bernard formally when we're both ready to talk honestly. Think about it. His reply, thank you, Mom. Whenever you're ready. I love you. I looked at my garden under the moon. Roses swaying, my home mine again. I'd learned love isn't conditional. Family isn't just blood. Boundaries aren't selfishness, but survival. Asking for help is courage. I deserved respect. My life had value. It's never too late to reclaim dignity. I slept that night with hope. Not for the past, but for a future where I mattered. My voice heard. My boundaries respected. I'd come home to myself. That was my greatest victory.